Dr. G, my doctor, when I was very sick, she came into the hospital and said, I know all the doctors in here, and I'll make sure they'll look after you. And I was very grateful for her time. She even wanted to come into the operation. I said, no need. There's no need. So very grateful for the advice she gave me after. She's a natural doctor as well, so she gave me a second opinion on whether I should, had great dilemmas on whether I should go through the liver operation. 2 years ago, I had a water cyst this big. And as it was very dangerous, and many people said, don't do it, there's a natural way. And because she's both medical and natural, she said, no, Nalanie, you have to do it. It's too dangerous to leave it. So, and I felt I had to do it. And it was such a nice confirmation to get that. Because so many people, oh, it's such a dangerous, but I wasn't scared of that. I just knew that something irregular was happening, and it had to be sorted. And she confirmed that. So thank you. After that, it was very, very, very peaceful. Because it's only when you get lots of things in your head, once you make a decision, whether it's good or whether it's bad, but once you've made it, don't you see the peace comes? Yeah?
Yes.
The peace comes. And then you accept. But when you're in a place where, I don't know, and then you make a decision, which is what I did. Then my doctor calls me up, you can't go through this operation, it's too dangerous, you'll die. I go, I'm not scared of dying, but I can't live like this. But you don't know, it's a very dangerous operation. And then she told me, no, it'll be fine. She had a very dangerous operation. She had cancer and a big tumor, and she removed it, and she's absolutely fine. And I'm absolutely fine. So sometimes, you need that medical person to tell you, but when you trust. And the doctor that did call me actually was one I trusted, because he'd known me so many years. And life is like that, lots of decisions, right? And you have to be very strong. You have to be very strong when you make decisions. And that's what yoga is all about, following the instincts and having no fear when you do. But knowing that pain will come. Pain will come. If I didn't do it, I lived in pain. If I did it, I'd have to face the pain of the operation. Do you see? Sometimes in life, in relationships, because the subject is relationships, pain, whichever way you look. If you stay, it's painful. If you go, it's painful. So it's not easy to make these decisions. They're hard decisions to make. And sometimes you have to choose which is the less of the two evils. And that's not easy. And that's the battle we constantly have in life. All these battles, they never stop. If it's not in a relationship, it'll be somewhere else. With your health. If it's not with health, it's with money. If it's not with money, it's with friends. If it's not with friends, it's your children. If it's not your children, there's always some kind of challenge that comes to us for us to grow. And the only way to learn to deal with it is simply make a decision and accept it. And accept it. And accept if it's going to be painful, it's going to be painful. Grit your teeth, surf the wave, and then laugh. And that's the only way to do it. What life is going to bring, okay? It's not, when I first got married, we all think that. It's a fairy tale. The first 2 years you'll live happily ever after. What a lot of nonsense. Whoever wrote that? It's work ever after. Would you agree? It's work. It's really work. You cannot relax in a relationship. You must constantly work at it. You constantly got to be interesting. You to yourself. You really have to work. You have to consciously be romantic, apply consciousness to everything. You have to be conscious of the right words to say, conscious of what you are thinking. Because if you are not, you can easily fumble and make a big mistake. And like Tiruvalluvar, the great Indian saint, said, once you say something, it's like a bird. It's out there. You can't bring it back. The other person will always remember it. Huh? How many times have I seen that in relationships? I've seen it at that, oh, but you said this to me and you said that to me, and the partner will say, but that was 5 years ago. I don't say it anymore. But that person still has it there. Even though it was 5 years ago, they still feel the pain. They say, 5 years ago, why are you still remembering it? Because the person hasn't learned to forgive it, you see? And by that time, they're so angry, they don't want to forgive. So careful what you say. But it's fun. What else would we do? What else would you do if you have no work? Life would be pretty uninteresting. Okay, let's see. How do you break free from a destructive relationship without feeling guilty for your child that you have together? Years ago, I used to think no matter what, you stick at a relationship. But I guess my relationship was different, because even though some stages were destructive towards each other, there was a great love for each other and a great respect. And that's what I said last week. Respect is very important, and sometimes I think it's more important than the love. But this word destructive, I have seen people in the last, like I said, when I first started with yoga, I thought, no matter what, try and make things work. But I have seen sometimes you can't. I have met people who've been in a relationship, for example, for 22 years, for example. And there was so much pain and so much suffering in the 22 years, but that person already had one broken relationship and did not want the second broken relationship. So he stayed for 22 years. But it came a point when he couldn't do it anymore for the children, because he started to get very, very, very sick. So not only was the relationship destructive, that person was going to lose it. In fact, he developed cancer right behind the heart. So you think, heartbroken, lack of love. So that was one of the cases. And when he split with his wife, which was the hardest thing he had to do, because there was a lot of guilt. There's always guilt. There's always guilt. It's hard not to have it. It's life. Then he could get better in his life and grow and find God and find peace. While he was at that relationship, which was very destructive, could not find peace. Another, I know like hundreds like this, but I'll give you a few that really made me think, to change my, no matter what, try and make it work. Which is, in some relationships, I still think that. I still think sometimes they just need to learn more about each other and you can fix it. But there are some that they're so intrinsically different. People are so different that they just can't do it in this lifetime. They just can't do it. And they feel they can't do it. So there's another relationship where the wife felt she had to do everything to stay with the husband. And he was really quite terrible in the sense that he would go to nightclubs and flirt with other women in front of his wife. He would be touching other women in front of his wife. He'd go home, play cards, gamble at home, expecting her to bring all the dishes to him. And she came from a wealthy family, and he didn't. Well, he did too, but he just used up all his money in gambling, and then used her money up too. But what happened to this relationship? She felt she had to stay for the children, and it was totally destructive. And I remember meeting her when her children were only 9 and 11. And I saw those beautiful children so troubled at home because they never saw their mom happy. They never saw the mother happy. They were confused whether they loved their father or they didn't love their father, because they realized that the father was hurting the mother. They couldn't actually place it, but they could feel it. Children feel. Children are so aware. So I remember telling her at that time, you know, I think you really need to leave this relationship. I said, I never tell anybody to leave the relationship, but I'm telling you because I see that not only one person is suffering, which is yourself, is your children are suffering. And there's 3 lives being destroyed here. But she wouldn't, and she wouldn't, and she wouldn't, till one day he went so far that the daughter got so angry, she accused him of touching her, and that was it. And then this woman finally left him. But what happened after that? What happened after that is that the children got so troubled. The young girl, who was now maybe 15, felt abused and had huge problems with relationships. She developed bulimia and then anorexia and spent years in different rehabilitation places. The son took drugs, started gambling. But because of the goodness of the mother, and she really was such a good human being, it took years, took another 10 years for the children to heal. But they are both doing extremely well now. But they both don't want to know the father. And that's their choice. So destructive relationships can do a lot of damage. So the question you have to ask yourself is, are my children suffering? If they are, then get out of there. Get out of there, because you have to, what is a mother's job or what is a father's job? Sometimes it's the mother who's doing the abuse. It's to protect your children. What is your job? You've been given a job to protect the weak. So if the weak are suffering, what should you do? The weak are suffering, what should you do? Yes, protect them. I'm going to say, my children are suffering, my family is suffering, but I feel guilty to leave this man who's making us so, this is all so destructive. You have to make a decision. Why? Based on righteousness. It's like the Bhagavad Gita. Not to hurt anyone, but to protect those in need. Because as Lord Krishna told Arjuna when he said you have to go to war, and Arjuna says, I don't want to go to fight. I'm fighting with my own family. What did Krishna say? You are not fighting your family. You are fighting for righteousness. Because if you don't protect righteousness, and if you don't fight for that which is right, who will? That means evil will continue in the world when nobody fights for the right. This is the karma that has come to you. Good or bad, nobody wants it. But it's destructive. It's come to you. What you going to do? Sit there and say, I feel guilty while your whole life is going apart. And the other person as well. Both of you are living miserably. So where do you find God in misery? I have not seen that it can happen. The God people find, or the universe people find, is help me to change the situation, help me to change the situation. No God is going to come there and change the situation for you, because God is in your own heart, and you have to wake up to love and kindness before you can feel God. So you have to ask yourself, is the relationship destructive because you have a huge hand in it, and maybe there's something in you that you have to heal first before you leave? Ask yourself that question. Where is the destructiveness coming from? Is it coming from the other person, or is it coming from you? Or is it coming from both of you that you just really, no matter what, can't see eye to eye? Before you break anything, seek counseling. See if there's a way to fix, repair, for the children's sake and for your own sake too. If there is no way, then finish. Goodbye. What can you do? Non-attachment. It was never yours in the first place. And as Gurudev always said to me, if somebody doesn't love you and tells you that they want to leave you, what are you going to say? Please stay, please stay? Say, fine, go. Go, because I deserve to be with somebody who loves me. I don't deserve to be with somebody who does not love me. And that partner needs to be with somebody that they love too. There's so little love in the world today. We need the love to happen. So ask yourself those questions before you make any decision. But do not make any decision on guilt. It's wrong decision. Because if you feel guilty, it shows a weakness also. Build a decision on strength, practicality, reality, and truthfulness. Be extremely truthful to yourself first. Is it me causing it? Because if it's me causing the destructiveness, maybe this relationship is teaching me something I need to change in myself. So even if you leave this destructive relationship, the next one will be destructive again until you learn the lesson. So, it's quite funny when people in relationships, when they come to yoga, it goes, oh, my relationship, it goes wrong when I become too naggy. Or I try to be too much in control. And then you work with each other, you work with okay, learn with me. Tell me when I'm in, then it works when you work together. But you have to have humility to admit that. So see what kind of relationship you have first, before you make a decision. And if it can't be fixed, don't destroy everybody's life, especially your children, because they do end up messed up. I have seen many children who have said to me, but why didn't my mother leave my father before? Or why did my father leave my mother before? Many. I had a young boy who refused to live with his mother, and he said to his father, I wish you had left Mum ages ago. She's always shouting all day long at home, screaming. So when they came to the separation, she couldn't believe it when the son said, Mom, I don't want to be with you. They had to come and see me, and I had to teach him to forgive his mum. He was so frightened to see his mum that he'd have nightmares the night before. Wouldn't go to school, couldn't, shaking. This a bit. So many years. I told the husband, why didn't you protect your children? He said, but she wasn't so bad. She just had a habit of screaming all the time. But to the child, my mother's a witch. Do you see? She's always shouting. You have to see what kind of child you have. Till this day, he's so grateful that he can stay. We got the order, and I spoke to the mother. I said, what, your child doesn't want to see you. What, you're going to torture him? I said, slowly, with love, and without possessiveness. One day he'll want to see you again. But if you keep telling me, you have to see me every Saturday, and I want to see you here, and I want to see you there. And the child even told me, my mother's stalking me. I've never heard a child say that before. My mother's stalking me. He was that frightened of her. So this is all destructive. And the man didn't want to leave the wife prior. He wasn't in love with her for 12 years. So she was frustrated. So she got angry. Do you see? It's two people. But now they've got a court order, and he can stay with his father. And the husband is working with me, and he's very happy. He's training his son to forgive his mother. Don't you think that's nice? He's really working with his son all the time. You have to forgive your mother. And the mother's lesson was learn not to shout so much. So this is a really, really loaded question, and there's so many different issues in this. You really need to ask yourself the question, who's the destructive one? If you both are, then maybe it's time to go. And guilt, feel more guilty if you destroy a child's life. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, it says very clearly, those who have fear, guilt, and anger cannot reach me. You need to be without those things. You really have to have a mind that is so pure. Equanimity of mind is yoga, we say. You have to have a very clear mind. How do you have a clear mind? Spend some time in silence. Spend some time in quiet. Get to know yourself. Please, that's number one step. Because if you know yourself and you make a mistake and you become destructive in your relationship, if you're the one that's attacking, you can see it right away. Then you can say, oh God, I have this fault. Don't say, I'm a bad person. No, I have this fault. It's like a machine. If a car has a fault, you'll take it to somebody to help you fix it, right? So you just practice some yoga yourself, examine yourself, read some positive thinking books, heal yourself, and if you can't do it yourself, see a therapist, and forgive, 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 forgive. The way you would forgive everybody, forgive yourself. And when somebody knows you are doing that, they cannot help but admire you and love you for it. They cannot help it. Because what people really take a dislike to is arrogance. And that destroys every relationship, the big ego. How can you leave me? How dare you do that to me? The moment you say that, you will be left. It's the way it works. I see it every time. Isn't it true? I see it every time where there's an ego. So watch out for that. It's a great question. And remember, please remember this always. Everybody's situation is different. Every human being is different. Know your book well. Know your story well. Your story is not like anybody else's. So just because a friend tells you that it worked for them to split, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Do not take anybody's advice but yourself. Okay? And if you are not clear, remember these words that my beautiful master told me. If the pan is too hot, would you say, should I drop it? You wouldn't. You'd just let it go. Okay? So that you are holding on to it means you are not ready. Otherwise you would have done it. Okay? That helps a lot of people to remember that. How is your relationship with your money a mirror of your religion? Didn't I answer this last week?
Yes.
Last week that I wrote it.
Yes, I've answered
It's
it.
got back in again, sorry.
Okay, why do... This is a really good one. Why do men not listen to women? We have 3 men here. Can I ask you, 4 men here. Yeah, can I ask you? Do you listen to women? May I ask you? You do? Okay, do you feel you do? Yeah. Mario, do you listen?
Well, I think you wouldn't listen to anyone, like I wouldn't listen to any man, no? It's like, doesn't really matter in that sense, I think.
It doesn't make a difference to you.
But I think I listen to my wife.
You do?
I think I can say that.
Yes, I think you do too. I've heard you, I've seen you together. So I know you do. Okay, you do. Do you?
I'm shaking the fist.
Well, do you think he listens to you?
When he wants to, yeah.
Okay.
No, he does. He does.
He does.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Are they?
No.
It's only water, it's a blessing, don't worry. Just, if you don't, we'll get a towel. Yes,
Say,
a
I've
towel.
got a towel, yeah.
Say it by the
Just use a towel. A towel, the tissue will work. It will work, it will work.
Saved by the bell, right?
It was good.
We got that one.
Yeah. Did you do it?
And Ole, coming to you. I wouldn't miss you out. Would you say you don't listen to your woman?
I'm practicing on a daily basis. To listen.
What, to listen?
Yeah.
Did you think before you didn't listen to her? Because you say you're practicing on a daily basis.
I practiced for 7 years before I met her.
Okay, good. So you've always been practicing.
But still, sometimes she feels I don't listen.
Okay, interesting.
But also, it's like, because we speak so differently, men and women, I think.
Yes, we
and
do.
that
Yeah.
women starts like that and then just spreads out everywhere. and very rarely get to a point in a man's view. Or they do, but it comes... But Kim is different, or Kamala is different. Thank God. She does like this, then she takes a right. and she goes like this, and then she comes back, and
Okay.
so I know.
You understand her.
I know she starts, and then she takes a right. I say, okay, I'll wait. And she comes could be a left sometimes as well.
Okay, thank you. By the way, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
I'm wishing you, I'm not asking you to come
Thank
to
you.
So, well, they say, this is really interesting.
What about him?
And also Steve, what is yours, Steve, as well?
Travis said he does.
You did?
Steve,
Oh,
Steve
you
said he's
asked.
taking
Ah,
the
so
fifth,
I didn't-
yes,
Yeah, he was taking.
the Fifth Amendment.
I need to practice that.
Well, I don't think that it's that they don't listen to. I think sometimes when you think men don't listen to us, it's when we talk. They say women talk 7 times more than men. And one thing we do, and being a woman, I have to admit this, we can go on the same thing again. And the man will say, I heard you, right? But for some reason, we won't take that answer and say, okay, but you'll do it again. We tell them, we predict a situation is going to happen again. And they'll say, yeah, I heard you. Yeah, but you didn't really hear me. I said, but I heard, because they hear and they take it. And because we as women need to hear it again and again and again before we accept it, there's this feeling that they don't listen. So of course, when you keep repeating the same thing many times, what happens? They stop. Yeah, they stop listening. And that's what happens in most relationships, as I've seen, including, I learned that from my marriage, the early days, because I used to tell him, you're not listening, you're not listening to what I say. But he's seeing it from a different perspective. Really, have you read the book Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus? We really see things very differently. And I think this is the wonderful thing. You got the yin and the yang. They fit together perfectly, but one is black and one is white. And one goes this way and the other one goes that way. And in a relationship, when you can learn that you are so different and yet so alike and accept your differences, then the relationship can work. The differences make it fun. The differences make it fun. If we can stop seeing differences as painful. I remember many times I would tell my husband, because he also was very chauvinistic in his way, he would say, oh, this is the way. And I go, no, but it isn't. And why do you always disagree with me? And I'd go on, you talk too much. Then he wouldn't listen. Then he'd come to the next day and say, it's like this. And I go, I don't agree. And he used to get very, very upset. Why don't you ever agree with me? And I used to say, because we see things differently. And finally, at the last 4 years of our marriage, I said, can't you just say we agree to disagree? Can't you just say that? Even if you think I'm wrong and I think you're wrong, because I refuse to say I'm wrong if I'm not wrong, right? And you should not say you're wrong if you are not wrong. Both of us shouldn't say we're wrong if we really believe in what we believe. So all we can say is, finish. We agree to disagree. And we learn to do that. After so many 30 years. A lot of help from yoga. Yes.
There's one situation I see again and again, and often I'm involved in it. It's like a woman starts talking about a problem, and the man right away tries to find a solution, which is not what the woman wants. She just wants you to listen and be there while she solves the problem herself. Because if you offer a solution, that's almost like an insult, or it adds to the problem. It's not what the woman is after. Sometimes, many times, I feel that.
Really? That's not what I see. I have seen, maybe in your particular relationship, because I have seen many times, if a woman wants a solution, and if a man sits down and says, gently, tell me what you want, and explain to me, and then finds a solution, the woman's actually very happy that you've communicated. Most of the problems I see is they don't communicate. They don't tell me. They don't give me a solution. They'll either walk away or keep quiet. That's what I have seen. Anybody would like to say something
That's what
else?
that book says. I agree with you
Yes.
because that book says that. It says
Yeah.
that men are
This
for
is like
years.
patronizing sometimes to just like, you just want to talk, no? But you don't really want a solution from him.
That's
You should
Yeah.
go like,
Just want to get off your
Well.
chest.
Okay,
that I.
then
I'm-
I must be a very different woman.
Nalanie.
Because I love solutions,
No, but
yes.
you're very solution orientated.
Yes,
We have a problem, solve it.
correct.
But that, I'm not talking that relationship when a woman says, I have this problem or I have work or something like that. When the man just then starts, but why don't you do this or that or that? It just goes like, well, you're not listening. You know, I'm trying to help you. No, you're not listening. And in the end, it turns out that what she really wanted was just that she could feel that he was listening to her problem. And then while she was talking, she would come to the solution and then feel really good afterwards.
Oh, great. Good to know that. So please.
Yes, talking about offering solutions, there's my husband and I participated in a communications workshop for the marriage, specifically, that we set up through a lovely woman I met a couple of years ago. And it talks about, it's a practical workshop where you learn to literally listen on 3 different levels and speak on 5 different levels, and etc. And you learn to incorporate all the parts of the woman's way of communicating and the man's way of communicating. So the woman does get to the solution eventually. We're setting up another workshop, another one of those, for those who are interested. It's for couples. Coming up this fall in Marbella.
Fantastic. Thank you. So you
People
need
informed.
to go to a workshop?
Yeah.
Thank you. Keep them informed.
Yeah, there's another resource that's really fantastic as well if you want to check out on internet called virtuesproject.org. It's more about speaking the language of the virtues, but it addresses the issue of communication, and specifically communicating with children and with a partner.
Fantastic. Thank
Good
you.
resource.
I'd like to say one thing. I think it's fabulous. But for me, I think keep it really simple. And really simple is, for me, is put yourself in someone else's shoe. And that's one thing I really, really learned in yoga. It took me many years. Every time something irritated me, or I didn't agree, or it was hard, and that's why I was able to say, can we just agree to disagree? Is it okay? Can we still be friends even though we don't see life the same way? I learned to put myself in, for example, my husband's shoes, his background, his way of thinking, and then I could really understand where he was coming from his world, his family, how they would react. I could really understand. And if he would put, and you know, when he couldn't understand me, I would tell him, put yourself in my shoes, from my background, where I came from. So I'm speaking from that place, and you're speaking from this place. It's not we were really angry with each other, we're just so different. So for me, simply, it was such a simple, easy way, because it's not so much mind stuff. Because in yoga, we're doing yoga's chitta, vritti, narodha, which restraining too many thought patterns. Because if you have to think so many things, it's a long process. Put yourself in that person's shoe for every situation. And if the person's destructive, you know they're from the destructive background, they can't deal with this, don't think you can change them. You know, how many people marry people who are on drugs or alcohol, and they think they can change them and stop them. But the background is so destructive that maybe they can do it for 2 or 3 years, but I see they keep coming back. You know, and then they say, but you promised to change for me, and you did it for 1 year. But it's a lifetime for that person, because they've had so much trauma, they've had so much suffering, that it is a lifetime for them to learn how to get rid of these addictions. And if you really love them, you just have to support them when they fall each time. And that's unconditional love. If you can do that, then go into that kind of relationship. But if you can't do that, don't badger them and hit them on the head, because what happens is they just become worse and worse and worse and worse. The more you tell them to stop, the worse they get. So women, we are also known to speak 7 times more than men. So sometimes after a while, you want to switch off. So understand that they're switching off. You can continue talking if you like, but don't expect them to listen. That's all.
I also think it's a when in the day as well, when he gets home tired and she really wants to talk, bad timing.
Yeah.
It's like nature has played a trick on us.
And hungry.
Hungry.
And hungry.
Yeah.
Never talk when you're hungry. Many people here suffer from sugar levels and your moods get really bad. So when you know you're hungry, please don't say anything important. Eat first and talk later. Alright? Because a lot of it's just physical. That's really a good point.
Do you know I had...
And the wrong time of the month for the women. And if you want to avoid premenstrual moods, because that really is there, please do Hatha Yoga. It's the best cure for premenstrual moods if you have it. Physical Hatha Yoga will help you tremendously. It helped me tremendously. 3 times a week, and you will lose the premenstruation moods after 6 to 8 months. Sorry, what did you want to say?
Just that I had some really good friends, and they became aware of that. Or they made a rule: as soon if they started arguing with each other, they stopped it and then made some food, ate, and it just the problem went away.
Yeah. And also when you're very tired. When you're very tired, you know you're exhausted. It's not a good time to discuss things. Say, please, I'm very tired, and tell them. Be clear in your language. I'm really tired. If I talk now, we're just going to say the wrong things. Can we please wait till we both are in a place where it's easy to talk? Because we're going to say something. We're too tired. Children are the same. Have you seen them when they're too tired? They get in a very bad temper. They start crying. Yesterday my 2 grandchildren were there, and we were taking them out for dinner, but they had a whole day in the pool, and they never grumpy. And all of a sudden the mood changes. Mommy, you know, and they weren't like that the whole time. I said, they're very tired. Next time we won't take them out for dinner if they're swimming in the day. We'll make a decision not to do that. They're too tired. They're not like that. And you know, my son says to his son, Shahan, behave, don't behave badly. I say, he's too tired, can't control it anymore. So it's our mistake. Next time we know, we don't take them out. Let them be home. Because then they can relax and stay at home. So we as grown-ups are the same. So those are the 2 things, watch out. Make it really simple for yourself. Many times it's not that you're angry with each other at all. But then you say the wrong things and it magnifies. It just magnifies for no reason. And then next day both of you end up feeling horrible and bad when there's no reason to it. You know? And you said horrible things that you regret. And that's horrible. So this is what you should do. Just watch out for those things. And some people tell me that when they have a couple of drinks, they become really weird as well. So what if you are one of those people that have 2 glasses of wine or whatever it is, and you get into a mood, don't drink. You know, just really cut out the drinking. Don't drink. You can't drink. Your body cannot take alcohol. I know quite a lot of people that the chemical imbalance just happens. Don't drink if you're one of those people. So those are some of the things on my hand. Yeah, those are some of the things I would advise. My brother married age 71, his girlfriend companion of 23 years, and now I hardly see him. I feel as if I've lost a son, and it hurts. How to respond to the situation? He's happy. Why should you feel bad? Your brother married age 71. His girlfriend has come back of 23 years. Be happy for them. I've lost a son. You know, non-attachment. No one belongs to us. If he needs you, he'll come back to you. Be happy for them. Don't feel hurt. That's possessiveness. You know, this is selfishness. Of course you're unhappy because you want to possess that relationship. You want it to come back again. Just think, if they went and lived in Australia, you can't see them once or every 2 or 3 years anyway. So why worry about it? Let them be free. Be happy for them. Be happy for them. Even if, you think maybe it's his companion that tells him that she doesn't want to be with you, accept that. Let them be happy. You'll be happy in your own life. Allow people to be free. Never try to hold a human being. The more you hold them, the more you hurt, and the more they hurt. The more they want to run away. Let them go. Nothing is yours. Was your brother yours in the first place? No, never belonged to you. So nothing is yours. Let them be free. And thank God they're free happily. So you got a bit of pain? Face it. Live with it. No big deal. Sorry, I'm a bit harsh. No big deal. In our relationships, we frequently look for approval from our partners, true. Families, friends, or co-workers, etc., to the point of losing ourselves. Yes. What is your opinion, experience, could be the cause of this seeking or approval, attention and validation? Karma? Yes, sometimes it's karma. Lack of attention and love in childhood? Absolutely could be. Nature of the ego? Absolutely, 100%, definitely, yes. Disconnection from God, the divine? Absolutely too. Those two, I would say, I can truthfully say there's a disconnection there. And also the ego. Yeah, the ego loves attention. Karma? Yes. The karma has come to you because you probably, maybe in a previous life, didn't get enough attention. Or maybe you got too much attention and you expect it this way. Why? We don't know. We really don't know. But this seeking of approval doesn't only happen with you. It happens with nearly most people I know. There's this desire to be liked. There's this desire to be, you see it in all schools, high schools. Children like to be popular. People like to be popular. And that's the ego. It likes attention. So, yeah. So when you are seeking that attention, it's not really very healthy for you. Why? You said it there. You lose yourself. I call it people pleasing. You totally lose yourself because you want to do things to make people like you. So there are things that you need to do that is you, that people won't like. So what happens? You're constantly in conflict with yourself. Constantly. So maybe you want to do something that other people may not like, but you need to do that to grow in your life. What will happen? You'll stagnate your own growth. So neither will you be happy because people don't respect people who are not themselves. They don't respect the person. Yes, they'll say, oh yes, how nice, how nice, how nice, but behind your back, they'll laugh at you. Oh, she's a people pleaser or he's a people pleaser. You want anything, just say anything, he'll agree or she'll agree. So you won't gain respect from that kind of attitude. So the first thing you need to do is go to the basis, as in the Bhagavad Gita says, It can be many reasons why you are that way. And you can spend a lifetime analyzing. But a life is too short to spend so much time analyzing why you are this way. You may not even get the answer in this lifetime. So take the shortcut. I don't feel good that I always feel I need approval. Whatever the reason is, I'm going to get stronger in myself. Obviously, I have a huge ego and I need attention all the time, or I have very low self-esteem. It's one of the two. And I need to be constantly told how wonderful I am, how beautiful I am, how kind I am. So there's something wrong with that. Because one day if it stops, who am I? People don't tell me, I knew a woman who was extremely beautiful. And I learned a lot from this woman. When she was a child, everyone told her she was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And as a teenager, I knew her and I thought, oh, how lucky to be so beautiful, stunning. Everybody would give her attention. And as we grew older, I remember one time we went out for dinner and there was a group of people and a gentleman came up and started talking to me about business. I was in business at that time. So he was talking to me about business, so I was answering some questions. My husband was sitting there. At the end of the evening, she got in a really bad temper with me. This is a person I thought beautiful, happy, I really was shocked, so I asked her, I said, you may ask, have I said something to offend you? Have I said something to hurt you? I was just talking business. I don't know why you got all the attention tonight. I don't know why everybody's talking to you. And of course, I saw right away that unless she got all the attention, which she was so used to, she was not happy. Because always she would butt in. When anybody was talking, she would just talk, and never listen. But because she's so beautiful and, she had quite a nice personality, frankly, I didn't mind. She can have all the attention she wants. But because somebody was directly asking me certain questions about certain things, she didn't like the idea. So I thought to myself, how sad. How sad. We had a lovely evening to spoil it because you need attention. So you have to look at yourself. Really look at yourself. And if you are needing to do those things, learn to correct it. And as the Bhagavad Gita said, learn who you are first. And if you read the Gita again and again, it'll tell you that you are spirit. You come with a human personality. Why do you feel you lack anything? Maybe life has not given you everything, but it's given you something. And maybe it's this thing always that human beings have. They want to be like someone else. I need water, sorry. We always want to be somebody else. Why? Why can't we be happy with who we are? We can't have everybody the same. We need a talkative person for the person who is quiet. You get two people talkative in a family, it's going to cause a lot of problems. They'll compete for attention. So watch. Watch yourself. Be happy with what you have. Learn, as I keep saying, that each one of us is a design piece. Learn about the design you were given. Don't want to be anybody else's design. Because there is nobody in the world like any of you. You are one of a kind. There is no one that has your personality. No one that has your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your hair, your character. Perfect or imperfect, there is just no one like you in the world. So why would you want to be like somebody else? Learn to be happy with what you have and who you are, and you will never want to please anybody else just for the sake of it. When you want to please somebody, it's because you love them. You really love them. It's not for the attention. You just want to do things for them because you love them. And then you'll be very happy. Every time you do something, it's just because you love them. And you become totally free in that love. It has no binding. But if you want somebody to like you, then there is a binding. There's a business there. I'll do this for you so you like me. So what happens when the day comes you can't do it for that person? Will they still like you? You see? You put no value to your soul. Put some value to your soul. Okay? Know you're special. Work on it. Know yourself. Make it simple. Why? There's 1,000 reasons why. If you really want to go to psychology and see psychologists for 20 years, go ahead. You come back to the same solution. Who am I? Try and take the shortcut. We don't know where it comes from. But be brave. Love yourself. Be brave to love yourself. You are a gift to you. Really. That's how I got over it. Simply. I felt, oh, maybe I don't like my personality like this. Or maybe I don't like this about myself. But I love God in me. I love God so much. And for God, I have to love this temple. And for God, I have to treat it well. And for God, I have to keep this mind pure. And maybe Nalanie, as a human personality, has her quirks and is imperfect. I accept her. But for God, I'll try to right the wrongs. I'll try to be truthful. I'll try to be as honest as I can. I'll try to love people as much as I can. Not because I want anything from them, because they too are God. That's the only way I could do it. Couldn't do it any other way. I don't know, maybe there are other means, but for me that was the only way. And then you get past yourself. You literally get past yourself. You know, when you have a problem and feel sorry for yourself, you look at yourself and say, oh, stop that nonsense. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. What a lot of nonsense. You actually watch yourself and get past it. You get past yourself. That's where the English expression comes from. Get past yourself. It's too big an ego. You're focusing too much on the self. Focus on the divine self, the higher self. And then you become free. Work from the higher self. Jung, the great psychologist, said people only healed when they got in touch with this higher consciousness. And then they healed. And in my life, I've seen that. I've seen people really heal when they get in touch with the higher consciousness. Otherwise, it's temporary healing. 6 months they're better and they're back to normal again. Another 6 months and they're back to normal again. So you really, in order to heal, you have to heal inside. So find, again, my master used to say, know yourself first. And then solution, fix it. And yoga is the perfect solution. That's why I loved it. So I love Raj Yoga. It's such a magical solution. If you study the sutras, and in fact, with request, I'm going to be doing it for 7 days intensive, not to become teachers. The sutras of Sri Patanjali. In January, I'll be giving a date from 9 to 4:30. I'm doing it in Portugal, I'm doing it in London, and I'm doing it in India in November. But January, I'll do it here. So even if you go to that one, you can come back here, because here is so convenient. And you get enough material that you need. You don't have to take any exams. And then if you want to research, you research. Because every time you study the sutras, it's different. I've read them for nearly over 30 years, and I still read them, and I still find something new. Because as you grow, the knowledge is different to you. You see beyond the lines. You see beyond, you see deeper, 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 deeper. And this is why we started talking about samadhis, but I could see some people couldn't understand it. Because how can you understand nirvana and samadhi if you haven't spent time with yourself alone? You cannot understand these great concepts. What's the point to talk about them? I'm taking you to some strange language. In order to understand nirvana, samadhi, you have to go through it. There's a journey, there's a road that you have to cross. There are no shortcuts. The shortcut is love and letting go. How many people can do that so quickly? How many can do that? So compassion. So yeah, you are people pleasing and you will never be happy. So I think I've done all the questions. But do you have anything you'd like to share? Anything you'd like to ask? I'd like to read something to you. Yes.
I just want to say what I said about women speaking so much.
Yes.
It's not true anymore. It used to be that.
Good to hear that.
I was not fair when I said that. I was partly a joke, but I feel I was not fair. Because it feels like, for me, when I see women, it has been joining you. It's been so much more focused the last 5-10 years, and there's sort of a joining there.
I'd
But
like
we
to
have-
say, thank you, sorry.
No, we have a part of the brain though that we're supposed to, our speech center in the brain is bigger because we are raising the little ones, so we talk a lot so they learn as they grow up. That's the reason we talk more.
And also women can do many things at one
Yeah.
time. We can. Yeah, we can do many things at one time. And then we get angry with the man because they can't. And what we have to accept is they can't.
No.
It's not that because they don't want to, or they're dumb, or they're silly. It's just, it's not the way the brain is wired.
But we can carry stuff and reach stuff.
That's right. Right. Absolutely correct. And when we need a solution that is strong, that's where you come in. It's great for women. And talking about women, I'd like to introduce you to a wonderful woman, my daughter-in-law, Aisha. Welcome. She's visiting from Hong Kong. Yeah, so with my beautiful grandchildren, she's a wonderful yoga teacher, a fabulous example. She's doing teacher training in Hong Kong now, and she's working with a lot of special needs. She's also helping us with the SIS charity, doing charity in Hong Kong, teaching people in wheelchairs yoga. And she's just started her own Sangha, and they love her. I saw a DVD that they did for her this morning, because she loves them, and that's the secret. Love heals all. And I'm very proud of having such an incredible human being as a daughter-in-law. And I watch her. She's been living with me now. When did you arrive?
A few days ago.
Yeah. And I watch the way she's with her children, and I watch the way she's with my son, and I watch what she does, and it's done in so much yoga. So much yoga. So aware of the children. So aware. Not too much explaining, not too little. Give them their space, also watch their young. I was watching this equanimity of mind. Only speak loudly when it's true wrong. Otherwise, tell them softly but firmly. I watched it, and then I know this girl is practicing what she's teaching. Sorry to embarrass you thoroughly.
So much.
When somebody lives in your house, either they give you a great energy or they give you a negative energy. And never lazy, always aware. Always aware. 2 children, but always aware. Can I help you with this? Let me go in. Not even ask, just go and do it. She said, Mom, you're always so busy. Let me make you a coffee this morning. You sit with your son and lie and chat with him. It's a nice thing. Which daughter-in-law does that? So, anyway, going back to relationships, I keep reading this because people keep forgetting. This is from the Upanishads. And you know, for me, I keep it simple. For me, keep it simple. You learn quicker. And this, it says here, to the householder. This is advice to the householder. Practice right conduct, learning and teaching. Be truthful always, learning and teaching. And this one I really love because I see people talk about truth. But how can you talk about truth when you don't live the truth? Louise, I remember, where's Louise? She's gone? Yeah, there she is. Louise, in our teacher training, gave us a talk, and she said she noticed that she's told a lot of untruths in front of her children. And when she did the course, she realized, what am I teaching my children? She told us a lovely story. And since then, she's been working with herself, so she's always speaking the truth. Because if she's learning and she's teaching, the children will learn from her example. So as you learn, you teach. Got it? So it's never too late. It's never too late. Master the passions, learning and teaching. If you let passion overtake you, this is sometimes we have passion, and it's all passion. It overtakes you that sometimes you lose your common sense. So master them. How many people have told me that because I'm just being totally truthful, because of lust in their lives, they've ruined so many relationships. Because they just think with the wrong part of their body. How many people have told me that? Thousands. So learn to master your passions. Master them so that you don't think with the wrong side of your body, you think with the right side of your body, your heart, and then you can avoid a lot of mistakes. Control the senses, learning and teaching. Strive for peace always, learning and teaching. Rouse Kundalini, learning and teaching. What is Kundalini? Who can tell me? The spiritual energy that lives in the base of your spine. That's where it lives, in the sacrum actually. So we use the force of the Muladhara chakra to awaken the sacred spot, and then it rises through your body. Kundalini is your spirit, is the spiritual connection to God, is the energy that lives in your spine and climbs up your spine. Any of you felt it when you do Hatha Yoga sometimes, or in meditation, like ants walking up your spine? If you don't feel it, it's because you're not meditating or work hard enough on yourself. It's not necessary you feel it that way, but you feel something happening to your heart. You feel waves coming to your body. That's Kundalini. It's waves of energy. You could be sitting down and suddenly you feel these wonderful waves coming through your body as if you're so in love and there's nobody there to say you're madly in love. So who are you in love with? You're in love with Kundalini, God, your spirit. It just feels like you're madly in love. Any of you experience those moments? And they're fabulous. And it feels sensuous, but it's not sexual. It's a different thing. Be aware of the difference of it. And this is why a lot of yoga teachers have gone wrong, because they get this feeling that is actually very sensual, and then a student comes up and they start to have an affair with one student and another student and another student, like we've heard recently in the news with so many yoga teachers. They tell everybody practice moderation and they're having affairs left, right and center. What kind of examples are you giving? You want to have them, do them honestly, truthfully, and so there's no misunderstanding and there's no, don't confuse people, don't disillusion people. Do things properly, all right? So Kundalini creates this energy, and I really don't blame those teachers. It's probably they haven't mastered their passions. So there's nothing to blame. It's just learning and teaching always. I thank them a lot because of them I have learned. I understood. And I've also had worn shoes and understand why they have done it now. Because Kundalini makes you feel very sensual. That's why so many students fall in love with their teacher. But if you can understand, it's from the heart. It's spirit recognizing spirit. So use the word brother or sister. I feel like my brother or my sister because it's that feeling. It's that connection. Because we are. We come from the same source, and that's what you're getting, this feeling. Don't confuse it. I remember I had a student many years ago, and she heard this great singer, and she fell in love because the singer was singing mantras. And she was happily married. I knew her very well. She was really very happily married. Husband, fantastic guy, lovely children. Anyway, she had this thing with this beautiful singer. And she wrote to me, I want to leave my family. And, the singer, who's very spiritual, of course, when somebody gives you so much love, it's very tempting to flirt back, right? Very tempting. So I think I'm not meaning he took her for a walk, etc. She ended up madly in love with him. So she calls me. I said, no, this is just Kundalini, you're mixing it up. No, Nalanie, I want to leave my husband, I want to leave my children, I want to go off with them. I said, please. Even if he's giving you attention now, he's going all over the world. All the women are going to be falling in love with him. Do you want to be with a man like that? Think clearly. Give it 3 months. Thank God she did. Because she realized it was just this rise of this connection that she mistook. Do you see? And if she had done something rashly right away, it would have created havoc in her life. She would have never been happy. And many, it's not only with singers, I see this happen a lot. So watch, master your passions. And this is the other thing. So strive for rouse your Kundalini, because we're here to do it, but watch it, study it. Serve humanity, learning and teaching. Serve humanity. I think you're all doing that in your own way in this room. It's fabulous. Everybody in this room is doing it in their own way. They're serving. So that's fabulous. Beget progeny, learning and teaching. In other words, when you come into this world, you create life as a householder. You create children. That's your job as a householder. Otherwise, why would you be a householder? So watch your children, have their grandchildren, and see the lines continue ahead of you, learning and teaching. Learning and teaching. Don't deny growth. Don't deny, I have to be spiritual, so I can't, I can't have children, I can't do this, I can't. Do it, have it all, learn. Anyway, I think the people who really learn to sacrifice are people who have looked after children and animals or things like that. When they've learned, I think animals are a lot of work also. Yeah, babies, huh? So, Satya Vacha says, Satya Vacha is one of the great saints, says, be truthful always. Tapanitya says, master the passions. Naka declares, learning and teaching are necessary for spiritual progress. It is necessary. So this is, and I'll just do 2 more verses. And this is what Naka says. I have become one with the tree of life. My glory rises like the mountain peak. I have realized the self, who is ever pure, all-knowing, radiant and immortal. Having taught the Vedas, the teacher says, speak the truth, do your duty, neglect not the scriptures. Give your best to your teacher. Do not cut off the line of progeny. Swerve not from the truth. Swerve not from the good. Protect your spiritual progress always. Did you hear that? That's one thing, protect. So people tell you, you have to give up your spirituality if you want to stay with me. Protect that first. You cannot give something up that is yours. If you do, you will be miserable. So protect your spiritual. You have to. In life, you are constantly challenged with that one. Constantly. Give your best in learning and teaching. If you're going to learn, give your best. If you're going to teach, give your best. Many people will teach when it suits them. They will serve when it suits them. And at that time, at that space, and this is it. I won't give any more. Is that your best? I don't know. Nowadays, people don't like to give. Never fail in respect to the sages. See the divine in your mother and father, teacher and guest. Look after your guest. My guru used to say, guest is God. Never do what is wrong. Honor those who are worthy of your honor. How many times I see people, just because a person has a lot of money and a lot of riches, they honor them. And they may do horrible things to other human beings. So honor those who are worthy of your honor. And give with faith, give with love, give with faith. When you give something, give it with faith, give it with love, give it with joy. If you are in doubt about right conduct, follow the example of the sages who know what is best for spiritual growth. This is the instruction of the Vedas. This is the secret. This is the message. With this, you can solve all your problems. It doesn't mean pain will not be there. Pain is part of life. It is part of growth. The seed bursts forth. Must be painful to separate itself, to create a plant. The cocoon bursts for a butterfly to come flying out, or a moth. So like that, we are the same. We sometimes go through pain to awaken to the rainbows, to the light, to the joy. So never, ever fear pain. Ask yourself, what am I learning for this? If pain is there for too long, then you are punishing yourself. Then you are living in guilt and you are doing something wrong. Got it? Pain should come and go. But if it's there for year after year after year, that is destruction. That is not normal. Life is not meant to be in constant pain. Life is meant for the living, enjoying. And so if you say, I'm in constant pain because I have to stay here because it's so destructive. Nobody's asking you to do that. Not even God. Because what did it say? Put your spiritual knowledge first. And what is spiritual knowledge? Keep it clear. What is spiritual knowledge? To live in peace and joy, love and light. If you don't have that, you are not in connection with God. So don't use guilt as a tool for your cowardice, because it is cowardice that will keep you locked in a prison. Nobody creates the prison for you except you. Understood? There is always a key you can apply with love and truthfulness. There is always a key. So prolonged pain is unhealthy. Get out of it. If you have pain for a short period, is normal. It will be released if you practice these truths. You don't even have to say, pain, go away. If you practice this, serving, I find that when you're in severe pain emotionally, service is the highest joy. Service. For me, that's the only way. Forget the pain. Because of course, when you're serving with love, it has to be with love. Has to be with love. And not any expectation. You are free. And then by the time you come home and you realize your pain again, the day is gone and you only have to sleep now. You're too tired to think about it. Do you see? You're too tired to think about it. So work is a wonderful word. Please don't ever think work is... Too many people have too little to do. And there's too much to do in this life. There's so much to do. If you really want, there's so much to do. There's so many people in need. Just go and ask. I don't know what to do. Go to the hospital. Ask them who is stranger in the hospital. That's what I did in Gibraltar. Who here doesn't have a family when I used to live there? And they say, oh, this person got off a ship, doesn't have anybody, they got sick and they're stuck in hospital. Go visit them. You make their day. When I was sick in hospital, my poor neighbor, I had my husband who visited me. I didn't have any family in that time. But my neighbor, I thought I was crying for my mother and my family in Hong Kong. My poor neighbor had nobody. She was literally alone. Her husband had died, her family all dead, and she was there in hospital being sick. Not one person to visit her. What a nice lady. When I got out of hospital, I said, by hook or by crook, I'm going to visit her. If I think I'm bad, there's somebody much worse than me. So remember that. Always remember that. And then you forget your sadness. And then you stop saying, well, my mommy. 21-year-old crying for her mother. That's silly. And then you tell yourself it's silly because you can see there was a 35 woman who never had a mother because her mother died when she was 7 or 8. Father died when she was 11 or 12. Then her husband dies on her when she's 35 or 36. You know? And she was still smiling. But she loved the visits. She loved the visits. So, do you see what I'm saying? It makes you forget yourself. And with that, your relationship at home grows when you're happy, when you're laughing, when you feel fulfilled. Then do you have time to think about oh, my wife did this, or my husband did this, or why isn't the cup here, and I did the washing today, and you did, and I asked you to do this, and you didn't do it. You know what? You just don't have time. You just get it. It's not done, you'll just do it. There's no time to even argue. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no time to even argue. Because there's so much going on, just get it done. And then one day, if it's too much, you'll just argue and tell them, you do it now, I've done enough, finish. Don't even feel guilty about that, they probably needed it. Do you see what I'm saying? So good, so those are the things on relationships. Is there anything else you'd like to know? Yes.
So can I ask a question? It's
Sure.
a little bit off the relationship one. But it's
Doesn't matter, it's our last session.
It's something I came across. I was in Ireland the last couple of weeks, and I had this discussion with somebody far more intelligent than I. And we were having this discussion about life or whatever, and I'm not the body, I'm not, I'm immortal self, I am. And he said to me, well, you believe that without a doubt. And I said, yes, I absolutely do. And he said, well, therefore you are not open to possibility. And he said that attachment is the exact same as somebody who's so attached to their religion. He said, is there any possible way that you don't think that this is true? And I said, no, I absolutely believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely know it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going, why? How? Prove it. And I'm saying, well, I don't need to, but he was saying that this itself is an attachment. What if it weren't true? And scared the life out of me, really.
Okay, you see, you will always get people who do that, and that's why I always say don't debate.
Well, I
Don't
couldn't
debate.
go any further.
Okay, yeah. I always tell people don't, yeah, they did that a lot with me in the early days. So simple answer is, right? What happens when the body dies? What drives the body when it's alive? What was it that entered the body? So if you think I'm the body, right? Then what makes it die? What leaves the body for it to die? You ask these questions.
No, because this person believes all this as well. But he was just posing a further question, as in, what if it's all we're wrong?
Then you say, if that's your belief, great, wonderful. And he says, you're not open to possibilities. And yeah, but your mind is open to multiple. If I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm actually open to many possibilities. And who am I? I don't really know who I am. I'm actually open to more possibilities than you can ever imagine. Because as spirit, who am I? Because when you say you are not the body, when you think you are the body, you are limited. But when you say I'm not the body, your possibilities are enormous. You could be an alien, you could be this, you could be that, you could be any possibility, right? And that's actually not limiting, it's expanding. Because immortal is expansion. Can we measure immortality? We can never. I mean, if you want to get into intellectual debate, that would be the next thing you would tell them. But you know what? I've learned that sometimes you let them talk and say, then you are attached to this. If you like to believe that, fine. And leave it at that.
No, I mean, it wasn't a conflict or anything.
Okay.
We were trying to get further with it,
Okay, well, that's how you get further then. Immortal means you have unlimited possibilities. Unlimited. If you are the body, you only have limited possibilities.
But the fact that you're so, and I feel I know it so much.
Trust it. You do.
Yeah.
You are not the body.
But am I attached to that?
No.
Knowing that
You know, what color are your eyes? Bluish green?
they change.
Okay. Are you attached to that? I know my eyes are dark. Am I attached to that? But I know it. Am I attached to it? Just because you know it doesn't mean an attachment. Does it? Just because you know something doesn't mean you're attached to it, does it?
But you're attached to the idea of it, aren't you?
Then you're attached to everything in life. Because everything that you know is an attachment then. Yeah? Everything is an attachment. If you know it, somebody says this flower is purple, am I attached? Somebody else may say it's green, but I see it as purple. Does it mean I'm attached because I see it as purple? No, I see it as purple. You may see it as green, but I see it as purple. Is it an attachment? No. I'm open to the possibility that you see it as green. That's your choice, but I know it's purple. Do you see? It's a knowledge. It's not attachment. Attachment is different. Got it? Is it clear? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah? Think about it. You have to mull it. You have to mull
I
it.
think that in some ways, though, what happens is that you have faith, because you know it because you have faith. You maybe don't see it with the eye or whatever, and that I see that it's not an attachment. It's just a feeling that you have.
Yes. Yes. It's faith.
It's faith. Blind faith sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you just know that you know that you know that you know.
And you're open to possibilities of other people seeing things differently or believing something else, or even you being wrong, but because you could be colourblind and you're seeing that purple, but in your eyes you see it purple, you can't deny that, and I agree, you don't attach to it, it's just the way you see it.
Yes. Absolutely. Anything else?
I have a question.
Yes.
When are you doing the sutras in London?
Okay, I think it's the 6th. I leave here on the 5th, 6th to the 11th. I think. Would you have the dates there, Shanti? Should give you. I think it's the 6th.
Yes, we start 6th till the 11th. Yeah.
That's right, of September.
Yeah.
Oh, September.
September. October is Estoril, and that is from, I think, also the 6th to the 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. 7th to 12th.
7th to the 12th. And India is 24th to the 30th of November. Yeah, those are the dates. If you're interested in anything, please ask Shanti or ask me. Anything at all. And then, if not, January, I haven't got the dates yet. So we will do 6 days intensive. And it's not a teacher training course. It's a course that anybody can take, even if you've done the sutras before. It's just to give you enough information so you can be your own doctor, your psychologist, and at least help yourself to find this divine you while you're living. Just to find who you are, to get steady in the mind. Remember, we humans, we will never be perfect. We will never be perfect. We're humans, but we can try to make our actions better. We make our, yoga says perfection in action is yoga. And when you have perfection in action, it makes things very beautiful. I went to a wedding practically it works also. I went to a wedding on Saturday. 2 yogis. I've known the son who was getting married since he was 4. And he had asked Gurudev, I never heard a 4-year-old ask the question at that time. Now my grandchildren do. But he asked, Gurudev, what is meditation? 4 years old. And how do I meditate? Anyway, he's grown up, getting married. The parents are yogis, the children are yogis. The whole wedding, everything was arranged with such taste. And so well looked up. All the guests were looked after. Everything was done perfectly for the guest. It was such a wedding that it was just so beautifully done. Perfection in action in yoga. Not too much, not too little. Just beautifully elegant. And I actually wrote them both an email today and saying, you could see that yogis had organize this wedding, the consideration, the people who are vegetarian, the way things were served, everybody was looked after. Buses were organized for the guests who were living in Gibraltar so they wouldn't have the frontier problems, in a beautiful monastery hotel, beautifully done. And so loving, and thanking all the guests for coming. Thank you for coming. Not I'm giving this party, and do you see what I'm saying? There is a love. When you live like that, it's so nice to be in that company. There is a love, and people do things with so much love. I leave early. What can I do? I mean, I can't take too many very late nights. So I left one of the earliest at 1:45. People still tell 4. But I did tell them beforehand. They do know me. And my grandchildren had just arrived, so I wanted to come home. I didn't want to get up early. And no, we're just so grateful you came, Oh, please go, Nellie, we know you love early nights. So kind, you know. I was so grateful for that consideration. So when things are done with love, there is like a marriage of human beings, that we live in harmony, we live in joy, no possessiveness, no anger, just gratitude on both sides. And that's the perfect marriage. In life, with everything, gratitude constantly on both sides, on both sides. And then it works, and that's where God flows. As we saw on the cleaning day, right? No expectation. Everybody went there just to serve, serve, serve. And the people received it. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And we, as Steve said, we were grateful to be able to help. And Ole said the same. So what happens is a magic, an energy that is created, and you can feel it. You can feel it. It's dynamic. And that's how relationships should be. Dynamic energy of love. So keep your relationships alive with your family. Like I said, observe them, watch them. Anyway, I love you all. I'm really happy to know you. And I hope you have a lovely, lovely summer. And fill it with joy and fill it with peace. Try not to drive too much. These roads are a little dangerous in the summer. So be at home, have some quiet time. You know, the sun sometimes makes people go a little crazy, too much eating, too much drinking, moderation. You know, wake up every day, do a practice. Even if you get up early and you can't, you know, meditate for 15 minutes, then go back to sleep again. You can meditate and go back to sleep again. But do it. Look after yourselves. Nurture yourself. You deserve it. And just look after yourself. If you look after yourself, God will look after you. God helps those who help themselves. Do your best and God will do the rest. Or the universe do the rest. Modern language. The universe will do the rest. So thank you very much, all of you. It's wonderful to be with you. I shall miss you, actually. I quite like the Tuesdays. It takes Nalanie away from her. And the Wednesdays, and the consultations. So I owe you people a lot. I owe you a lot. Thank you very much indeed. I'd like to finish off with 3 Om Trambagam for world peace. And I'd like to pray for Ole. It's his birthday. He doesn't want to be wished. So we will respect that and dedicate the Om Trambagams to him too.
It's also Steve's in August. We're over here.
Can I also suggest that we do the honors for the families of in Santiago de Compostela with
Yes.
the terrible
Train crash. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. If you close your eyes, take a deep breath. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mokshire Mamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityo Mokshye Mamritat Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityo Mokshye Mamritat Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Victory to God. Jai Shri Satguru Satchidananda Ji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai all of you. Have a lovely summer.